Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, from wherever you are joining. My name is Kimberly Fuhrman-Jones, and I am the Revit Community Manager at Autodesk. I'm going to take you along on a Autodesk Revit road trip, so pack your bags. Just a little bit about me. I am located in South Central Pennsylvania in the US. And prior to joining Autodesk almost 4 years ago, I spent many years in architecture, civil design, project, and BIM management. I witnessed firsthand that transition from hand drafting to CAD and BIM. Yes, I'm that old. I just recently added Jones to my last name. I have 3 adult children and an adorable almost 2-year-old granddaughter whose birthday is so close to BIM Coordinator Summit that I just couldn't travel abroad. Feel free to connect with me on X/Twitter or LinkedIn. Just very quickly, our Autodesk Safe Harbor statement. If I make any forward-looking statements, I don't want you to make any purchasing decisions based on those statements. If you are making purchasing decisions, take a look at the software in its state today and that alone. All right, so where are we headed? Well, we're going to start our journey by looking at some new features and functionality in Revit 2025, including the latest point releases. We'll continue on and talk about ways you can give feedback on Revit directly to our product teams. Then we'll take a pit stop on the Revit public roadmap and finally reach our destination and take a look at some Revit strategies. So, for those Monty Python fans, off we go. We'll start our journey by taking a brief look at some of the latest improvements to Revit since the 2025 release. The new features in Revit 2025 fall under these 6 key themes: design productivity, sustainability, analysis, interoperability, cloud and data, documentation, efficiency. Each of these are just overall overarching themes that we're incorporating into Revit. Revit 2025 came out back in April, and it really had too many improvements to name here. I wish I had more time. So I've just highlighted a few of my favorites. By the way, if you're looking to see what's new before even installing the new release, you can always go to our Autodesk blogs to find out. The link is there at the top. The next generation insight and the Carbon Insights add-on in Revit analyzes embodied and operational carbon in your designs. This is a great way to incorporate sustainability in your projects. The array of 1 or 0 in families is so helpful. I had no idea how an array of 0 could be helpful, but looking at this example, I can see that it will be a fantastic tool. We've already seen some crazy applications of the multi-loop mullions in Revit. So this is really a game changer for your details. Sheet collections, great way to organize sheets in a project, and it aids in printing sets as well. The Auto Join and Lock Walls tool saves quite a few steps in creating overlapping wall structures. In addition to these, we've also continued to improve topo solids, IFC category mapping, MEP model consistency, and our part search for MEP Fabrication Data Manager. Whew, that's a mouthful, which is in tech preview. We've had several more improvements to structures, and of course, the extensible storage improvements to minimize those nasty schema conflicts and optimize workflows. Okay, our first, what we call point release, came out pretty quickly this year in June. Now you're going to begin to see these point releases coming out a little more frequently. They will still add some functionality to the software, along with other fixes and enhancements, but they will be smaller, more frequent releases. The dot one release included in Canvas wall joins control. So that little icon comes up automatically when you click on a wall, and you can make adjustments without having to go to the ribbon. We've also made improvements again to topo solids and PDF export in this release, as well as improving the way coordination model changes are displayed in IFC and NWC models. In the latest point release, which is 2025.2 that came out in July, we introduced some exciting new features like the tabbed project browser. This was one of our top voted Revit ideas with over 1,000 votes, and we are thrilled to give this functionality to our customers. The new Revit Home user interface is now set as the default in this release. We've also made updates to the Manage Links dialog. There is so much more functionality there now. And of course, we've continued improvements to Twin Motion with the new asset substitution, as well as MEP systems and structures, and so much more. Many of these improvements, in fact, most of these improvements have been implemented by utilizing some type of customer feedback. You know, we always say that feedback is a gift, and it truly is. Our product teams have several ways to collect customer feedback, and that feedback is not ignored. It is used every day to influence the improvements to the software. So these are just a few of the ways our teams can hear from you. We're going to take a closer look at each of these opportunities for you to influence the future of Revit. And don't worry, those QR codes and other links will be available as we go. First, the Revit Ideas Forum. So to find all of our community forums, you can go to forums.autodesk.com. And you can post your new, unique ideas to our Revit Ideas Forum. This forum is specifically used for customers to post their ideas for improvements or new features to the software. Ideas should be concise and specific. Sample images or videos are helpful for our product teams to understand your requests. They're visual people. Again, these should be constructive requests, something that's actionable for our teams. You know, with over 11,000 ideas currently on the forums, you may think that it's worthless to post a new idea, but that's simply not true. We know all of your ideas are important. We are continually combing through the ideas for potential improvements. Indeed, if you do a quick search, you will most likely find that your idea has already been posted, and you can add your votes and comments to those existing ideas. This helps with the work that we are doing to consolidate and combine ideas to make it easier for both customers and product teams. To date, we've implemented over 400 Revit ideas alone, and we have accepted over 150 more. Once a feature is selected for development, it is then added to our roadmap. Next, the Autodesk Research Community is another type of community experience working with our researchers. Customers that are in the research community can participate in interviews, surveys, and usability tests. The amount of commitment or participation is completely up to you, and the opportunities are tailored to your industry and interests. If you would like to have a head start on the newest features and enhancements that are currently in development, then join the Revit Preview Release project. You can apply to join the Revit Preview and have early access to testing of features and enhancements currently in development. You can get feedback directly to the teams and interact with our developers on the Revit private preview release forums. The application does require a signed non-disclosure agreement. We have found that preview release users value the direct interaction with the product team, and we reap benefits of better planning for future upgrades. Basically, you know what's coming out before it comes out. Just in the subsequent point releases, we are incorporating over 60 new features and enhancements and approaching 1,000 quality and performance updates based on customer feedback. Being a part of the Revit preview also provides you opportunity to participate in one of our Inside the Factory events. These are my favorite. Our Inside the Factory events are opportunities for you to test Revit development software in real time with our developers in the room. These require a little bit more of a time commitment, but I can tell you from personal experience from both the customer side as a participant and the product team side, these events are extremely valuable. For our in-person events, you travel to one of our Autodesk offices. We provide food and lodging for the week, great food, and you get to spend a few days in the office working alongside our development team, testing latest features and enhancements. We also do some fun evening activities. Unfortunately, by the time this presentation is available, registration for this year's events will be closed, but please keep an eye out for future opportunities. Thankfully, there is no running involved in our sprint demos. Sprint demos are hosted individually by our product teams, typically prior to a feature being available in the preview. Sprint demo customers are usually invited by the product team to give more in-depth feedback on a specific feature or workflow. Again, the more active you are in the Revit preview or in the research community, the better chance you have to be invited to a sprint demo. Now, obviously, taking the time out of your schedules to test the software is sometimes difficult and certainly not billable time. I get that. But the reward of knowing that your input has helped make Revit better for you and the industry is certainly worth taking a look. If our teams don't hear from our customers, they don't know what our customers need. So let's take a look at the Revit public roadmap. A little over a year ago, we introduced our new public-facing roadmap for Revit. Each discipline links to their respective roadmap, where we give an overview of our strategy, as well as links to each area of development, features, and enhancements that our teams are focusing on. Once you select a discipline, there are several tabs at the top. The first tab is where we are going. This is our strategic focus areas. We'll take a closer look at that tab in a few minutes. In progress is what we're actively working on. The In Preview block at the bottom means testing is available for that feature in the Revit preview release. A light bulb icon indicates that the feature or enhancement was inspired by a Revit idea. Clicking on each of these cards will bring up a dialog box with more information on that feature, as well as the opportunity to let our teams know how important that feature is to you. Once you click on the importance, then you have the option to give additional comments. Again, these go directly to our product teams. They read them every day. The next tab are the things that we want to work on next. And then on radar are things that we're considering for future effort. Again, we can't say when these features will be coming out specifically, or even if, but you can get a general idea of a cadence from the roadmap. The Launch tab shows recently released features that are currently available, and our FAQs are common questions and answers that we answer quite frequently. So all of this development is based on some very specific strategies. Now I'm going to go over a very high level look at the strategy themes and a look at how these themes fit into our roadmap. So these are some of the strategy areas that we are focused on with Revit. Modeling and documentation, always pretty obvious when it comes to Revit. Simulation and analysis, looking at ways to improve and expand functionality there. Collaboration and ecosystems, looking outside to how well we play with others. IFC is also always a big part of this. And of course, the overall experience of how you interact with Revit. You will see these strategy themes throughout our public roadmap and some more specific strategies for each discipline. To sum it all up, we believe that the future of Revit is powered by better connected data. And you're going to see more of this data connected workflow as we move ahead with Revit. Now, this may look similar to the earlier roadmap slide, but we recently updated our roadmap to include information on our strategies. You can see some of the things that we just talked about: modeling, documentation, and so forth. This one is specifically for architecture, but there are some that apply to all disciplines. Just like the features, you can click on each card to learn more and add your input to let us know how important this particular strategy is to you. And when you do that, you also have the option to add additional comments. Our product teams really do want to hear from you. And one just little bonus note, Autodesk University is happening in October, and this time it is being held in San Diego, California. This is our largest conference, and just like BIM Coordinator Summit, this is a great way to connect with colleagues from around the world and meet with Autodesk representatives in person. I do hope to see you there. At this time, we're going to head over to our Q&A session. But I want to thank you for taking the time to attend this presentation, and thank you to BIM Coordinator Summit for allowing me to share. I'm happy to answer any questions, although the only question I can't answer is when. Enjoy the rest of your conference.